I know that this is difficult news, and I know that it will mean plans disrupted, and that for businesses affected, it will be a significant blow. But this action is absolutely essential.
If we don't change the trajectory, we're going to go to shutdown, and then your business is going to close.
Het coronavirus grijpt nog sneller om zich heen.
The coronavirus is spreading even faster than we predicted last week. That is why the Netherlands will be going into lockdown for at least 5 weeks.
There is no such legislation, such as a fine or penalty, so the only thing we could do is to ask people to cooperate. Under such a circumstance, Tokyo residents have been cooperating with us.
I just want to say that if we have too many contacts now before Christmas, then it's our last Christmas with our grandparents. Then we will have been negligent. We should not do that, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back to Take a Break. I'm Tim Stanovec in New York. Moderna's vaccine was deemed safe by U.S. regulators, clearing the way for a second shot to quickly gain emergency use authorization. Bloomberg's Francine Lacroix discussed the immunization timeline with Johns Hopkins senior scholar Amish Adalja.
So far, so good. But remember, this is when we're just kind of vaccinating healthcare workers and nursing home residents, so they're kind of a captive audience, much easier to do. Many healthcare workers can be vaccinated at hospitals where they don't have to worry as much about the cold chain. When the real challenge comes is when we're vaccinating people that live in the community and more of the general population. So right now, I suspect everything is going as expected. Hopefully, I'll be vaccinated by the end of this week.
How will hospitals be coping during the holiday season?
It's going to be rough no matter how we look at it, because this vaccine isn't going to have an impact on the patients that are at the hospital today, tomorrow, or next week. And what we know is that we are at record numbers of hospitalizations, and we have a very uncontrolled outbreak all throughout this country. So we do anticipate more people getting hospitalized, more people dying, and hospitals really struggling on a day-to-day basis, worrying about their capacity, worrying about their staffing. So I think it's going to be a dark several weeks ahead.
Dr. Adalja, how much time do you also spend trying to figure out how we roll out the vaccine in countries that don't have the funds that the UK or the US actually have?
I think this is going to be one of the biggest challenges, and this will likely stretch into 2022, especially because the vaccines that we have now, the first-generation vaccines, are all three two-dose vaccines, which are logistically difficult. And some of them, the Pfizer and Moderna, have cold chain requirements that are very hard to establish when you're talking about a place that doesn't have stable electricity, where they have difficulty with ordinary vaccines that require normal refrigerator temperatures. So I do think that likely you're going to probably see second-generation vaccines play a bigger role in the developing world, because it's going to be so challenging. Although there are organizations like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, CEPI, the COVAX consortium that's trying to get vaccines to this part of the world, it's going to be one of the biggest challenges they face, because we're still trying to eradicate polio and eradicate measles in some of those countries. So this is going to be a really Herculean task.
So I keep on reading conflicting reports. It'd be good to get your sense of this one way or the other. Do we know, once you get vaccinated, do we know if you can still transmit disease? Are you still able to pass it on to someone?
This is an open question. We know that the vaccines are very effective at preventing what's called symptomatic disease, but we don't know if they're effective at preventing asymptomatic disease. And if you get infected, despite the vaccine, and you have an asymptomatic case, are you contagious to others? That's something we need to study and know in more detail. I suspect there's some effect. I don't know how high the effect is. And Pfizer and other companies are going to be doing studies to determine whether or not people are getting infected asymptomatically.
Well, there you have it. Johns Hopkins senior scholar Amish Adalja. The Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health is supported by Michael R. Bloomberg, founder of Bloomberg LP and Bloomberg Philanthropies.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quicktake now for insight in an instant.